Joining me now is Nick Pollack of PitcherList.com. Nick, thank you for joining me.
Oh, what is happening? Thanks for having me, Justin.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Likewise. And, I found out that you're not going to New York, and now I'm really bummed. But at least I get to talk to you now,
Yeah, you should come to Vegas.
Yeah. Now...
No?
No, I've avoided Vegas all my life somehow already.
Oh, you've never been to Vegas?
I've never been. And, it might be a shock to a lot of people who do know me that G-rated Nick Pollack doesn't really gravitate towards Vegas.
But it's the one place it's like okay to let all those character defects come out.
What do you talk? Why would I ever want quote unquote character defects to come out?
Because it's fun.
I would go if it were with you and with all these other people. That would
I'll be
like
there.
The reason
I'll be there.
I understand.
Yeah.
This is the only reason I'm actually thinking, that might be a lot of fun because it's just about the people I'm with.
Yeah.
But Vegas itself with this, it's not made for me, and that's okay. That's fine.
Oh, it's totally made for me. It's I have been to Vegas 3 times in my life. I've never been there when I was drinking. I've only been in my sobriety. That did not stop me from being banned from the Circus casino.
That's what I was going to expect. Yeah, you were totally banned from not any other, just the Circus one.
Well, that was
so
the
good.
one.
There's 2 of them in town.
Mm-hmm. So I have a blast. I'm really looking forward. I'm going to be sad that I'm not going to hang out with you in New York this year.
I am so sad. It's actually
we got
more
to
about
see
your
each other.
Wife, really, that she won't be there because you won't. Maybe she'll come out without you. That might be.
I actually told her because she really wanted to still go to New York, even when, for those who don't understand what we're talking about, Tout Wars is always in New York. The last 2 years it has been online because of COVID, and this year it was looking like it was going to happen in New York, and they made the decision recently to move it back online. None of people felt comfortable about traveling to New York, which I understand, but it meant that Danielle and I couldn't go out to New York, and she was very, very bummed. I actually told her, I was like, listen, go to New York, like go by yourself, go hang out with people who are out there, go party it up. I'll stay home and take care of the kids, and then either I can go to Vegas by myself or she can come with me. But I was like, go do it. Like, when have you ever had a chance to just go just do your own thing? And she was like, no, I don't want to go without you.
Aww.
Which is weird. She didn't really like me that much. Like,
no, you guys love each other so dearly, and it's wonderful. We all see it. We all know it. It's great.
But enough about not getting, because I just saw you. I saw you in Arizona. Like, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh yeah, you just saw me. Yeah, it was only 4 months ago.
We went shopping and
yes,
and bought a flamingo for Paul. And
Justin, this is, I think, a really good sign of a great friendship is that you're just saying, hey, I got to go to Walmart. And instantly I'm like, yeah, all right, I'm coming,
Yeah.
I had no reason going to Walmart, but yeah, you know what? I just want to go to Walmart with Justin Mason.
Have you seen on Paul's live streams, whether on Twitch or whatever, it's there. Yeah. It's just sitting in the background.
Sandy is there. Yeah.
Yeah, it absolutely amazing that he is
so great.
He loves that thing.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the most ridiculous thing I could find in Walmart was this flamingo that is wearing a Santa hat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so obnoxiously pink and with the weirdest texture too. And I just gave it to him. I was like, here you go, sport. I got you a gift.
It's not small either. Like it.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's not like this is the size of your hand. This thing is like a foot tall that he then had to pack it in his bags and take back to Texas.
And it's there. It's in his shot. I think he was on, what was it, MLB Network or Vissen or something like that. And it's in the background of his shot. And I'm just like,
every time we record, I can see it. I see it behind him.
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, that was the last time I saw you was, I guess that was end of October. It's now the beginning of February. And I can say the word now. Apparently, I still struggle with February. Yeah, I want to say the R. February. I want to say February.
You're going to have me messed up on it.
Well, I used to do Jose Abreu. And I would do the R twice. And like, oh no, and it's sticking. It's the B and the R. They just kind of mess me up. I don't know what it is. So February. Yeah. All right. Whatever. It's 2.5 months. 3.5 months later. And I was hoping to see you in a month, but I guess not. I'm not even seeing you in Florida for first pitch at Florida either.
No, unfortunately, I gotta, being a parent, I have to make hard decisions, and
Yeah.
I can only pick
Whatever,
one place to
Mason.
go to a year, or well, a draft season. So, but you're going to First Pitch Florida.
Yes. Yeah. It's just such a good time and great people and everything. And I don't have kids, so
This is true.
I will go. And Tout Wars was like always the other trip that people would make. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
making because I'm just here always. So it's just
Yeah.
one trip for me, and that makes it easy.
See, what you need to do is talk Danielle into moving to New York.
Well, wait. You didn't say us to New York. Just move Danielle to New York.
Well, no, Danielle is the reason I can't move. Like,
I see.
I would have no problem moving.
Oh, interesting. Why can't Danielle? What is
She's from here. She's grown up here. This is where her roots are. Like, I didn't grow up in
trees
California.
have moved places.
This is true, but not all trees survive when you move them. And
the roots weren't always in Fallon's band complex or whatever that is. The roots move.
This is true. I would be totally. Danielle lived just outside of New York for like 6 months.
Danielle!
When she was 18 years old, and that's the only time she's ever lived outside of the area we currently live in, Northern California. I think she
look. Fast moved away from me.
Okay. And how are you handling that, by the way?
Not well, Mason.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be really tough.
It's hard. It's he would come over once a week for the On the Corner cast. Always a big hug. It would always just be this nice.
And Alex gives amazing hugs.
He does. He really does. Yeah. And there is something to be said about doing a podcast in person with someone. We were so lucky to do that from the get-go of ours. That I think like now that we're apart, it's we're able to still have the same chemistry, but especially when you're starting a cast, having them in the same room just makes things so much smoother and better. And yeah, it's not the same, but I know why he did. It was good for him, and he's got a child soon and all this stuff. It's just, I miss the guy. How could I not?
Yeah. I don't know how you're moving on with life. Like that's.
He's still alive, Justin.
But not the same. It's not, This is now a long distance relationship when you're used to, being able to.
I have a fantastic support system.
Good.
Okay?
I'm glad.
The Pitcher List staff is so amazing and large and incredible, and a lot of people have stepped forward. For example, I mean, you met Miles. Miles, the director of staff here now. Amazing dude, and oh wait. Both Fast and Miles are in LA. Just want to say that loudly.
Maybe you need to move to LA.
Absolutely not.
No, that's not a Nick Pollack.
I don't even have a driver's license. I don't want to drive cars.
That's right.
I don't
forgot.
want to do this.
So
I've avoided it. I can drive a car.
Okay, I was going to ask. I was like, do you know how to drive a car?
Yes. I have a learner's permit, or at least I need to go and
Yeah, I'm sure it's expired at this point. Because I have a twin brother who, and I grew up and he grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. And he did not have a driver's license until he moved to California at the age of 25, 26. And he did not know how to drive. And the California DMV, not realizing he didn't have a license from Washington, D.C., handed him a license.
Oh, no.
And
how does that happen?
I don't know. He went and took the permit test, the written one, and then they just sent him a license in the mail. And he proceeded to drive a bumper car around Napa, California, and run into things for about 2 years before he really learned how to drive.
That's amazing. I mean, I've done it in Brooklyn, like from where I am down to South.
Oh, driving in New York is a nightmare. I've done it a few times.
I've done it in Cape Cod. I remember once I had to stall for my dad's surprise 60th birthday. So I said, Dad, I want to learn how to drive for a bit. So that was the only way I can get him out of the house with like me and him for a good 2 hours, whatever. My mom prepared. And I remember going off to Red Hook. That's what you do in Brooklyn is
Mm-hmm.
you go off to Red Hook where like it's not as busy and stuff. And I would right around there. I remember the first thing we did was tried parallel parking. And I remembered the tip. I have to remember it again, but essentially you line up with the the seat of the seat of the car that you're next to or whatever. And I nailed it on the first try. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll move on." And I was like, "Wait, no, I want to practice that again because I had to stall for like a good 2 hours." I was like, "Oh no, I am too good at driving." That's the takeaway you're supposed to have from this story.
You're supposed to throw it a little bit there.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh no, I nailed it. This is
Mm-hmm.
bad." But that was 6 years ago. Who knows? I'm an old man now. I don't have the same athleticism that I used to have. So we'll see. Maybe I can actually drive. And look, I've avoided for so long. I don't want to go off to LA. It's so spread out. Like I remember hearing a story of someone saying, "Oh man, the best restaurant in LA is the one that's between a gas station and a laundromat." And I'm like, that sucks. I'm sorry. I understand what you're saying is that like you have all these amazing chefs and all these places, and it doesn't, the grandiose presentation doesn't matter because the essence, the food is great. I understand that part, but it's just that to do anything in LA, it's like you could do one thing here, then you gotta sit in a car for 40 minutes to get to the next thing over here, and then you gotta go 30 minutes the other way to go to the other thing. Like in New York, it's so great. There are so many amazing just little neighborhoods. Everybody walks to everything. You plop down there and you just spend the entire night, even a full day in this one neighborhood that you've never experienced before because there's so many incredible ones here. That's New York. It's the best walking city. And I don't want anything else. I don't want to go to LA. Get me out of here. The weather though, I'll give you that. The winter sucks here. It's so terrible.
Yeah. There are times where I miss like living on the East Coast and living in colder climates, especially during the summer. But then I remember what your guys' winters are like, and I'm like,
oh, it's rough, man.
Yeah, I'm not.
It sucks.
I don't want to do that again.
I have gone to be the state of curmudgeon, where when it snows the first time, I'm upset because now I can't walk on the sidewalks proper. It's all one lane traffic of walking. And you know me, and 6'4" and being a New Yorker, I'm like, I gotta walk quickly. I got places to be. Time is time is a thing. That's a resource. And I have to wait as the snow piles us in the Jews and Moses, the Red Sea. Everything's partying. We got the waves of snow on the left and right, and it's as if they have their Moses with their cane with how slow they walk. And I'm like, why, weather, have you done this to me? I need my freedom. I need my time. So I see snowfall. I'm like, this sucks.
Have you been in New York your whole life? Like, did you grow up in New York?
Yeah, no, Brooklyn. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't get out.
I'm assuming because you grew up in Brooklyn and New York, and you've always been a Yankees fan. Like
I wanted to be happy in life, Justin. Yes.
Yeah. Like, so are you just like you came out into the world, and your dad or the doctor just put a Yankees cap on you?
This is actually what happened. Is I came out and said, "Fire Billy Martin." No. My dad was actually a Met fan. He even talked about pacing in front of the TV in 1986. And I have this image of my dad pacing so rigorously, but that's not what he did. I just can be like, oh no, oh my God, it's this real animated, embellished acting of someone pacing in front of a television. But what happened is, he would take me to the Met games and stuff. I actually went to the first ever Colorado Rockies game, for example. I have a little pin of that at Shea Stadium. But my sister one day said she was a Yankee fan when I was about 5. And instantly I was like, well, now I'm a Yankee fan because my older sister said that one thing, and I didn't listen to my dad anymore. And this was like in 93 or something like that. And so I was like, no, all right, I'm a Yankee fan now. And it's interesting, actually, my friends were all Mets fans. And I had such a competitive group of friends. And I innately, over time have pushed away my competitiveness as much as I can. It still comes out, and I hate that it does. It's so silly for me to feel so emotional about that pride or whatever. It's like, who cares? Just have fun, have a good time. These are people you're enjoying. That should be celebrated. So, but my friends, as a kid, I was the worst because we were all so competitive. They were Mets fans, and they would just talk endless trash, just whatever it could be. I was always right because the Yankees were obviously better, but it didn't matter, like, because my friends weren't. And I remember, I said in one year, like, all right, you know what, I'm a Mets fan because I just wanted to like root for a team with my friends. And then that, of course, became a massive thing about me switching teams and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, that you're a traitor now.
Yeah, so then, I mean, me, who really thinking about treason at age 8. So then I was like, all right, no, screw this. This is not anything better. I'm a Yankee fan and stuff. But I mean, I because of that, I always felt linked with New York. I wanted them always to win, the Mets. I never rooted against the Mets or anything. I was conflicted.
Except for during the Subway, let's say.
Yeah,
except for
the Subway series in 2000. Like, there's a part of me that was like, I kind of wanted the Mets to win because the Yankees had always won. And then, my friends were Mets fans and stuff. And, like, I was just so spoiled of winning. But in my heart, it was just like, yeah, I'm a Yankee fan. Like, what am I doing? This is so stupid. So they'll still joke that, like, are you a Yankee fan? I'm like, guys, I was just trying to seek your approval. That's all it was. And you should know this. In my heart, I was always a Yankee fan.
How did your father handle you becoming Yankee fan? Because, like, as a parent, because I'll tell you, because as a parent, like, we have, obviously my wife and I are both Giants fans, right? But I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area. I'm, Washington football, what Commanders now. They have a name.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So I grew up a Washington football fan. And
it's very Macintosh of them. They didn't become Control or Alt or Windows. They became Command.
I mean, they really botched it. I would have much rather seen them just stay at the football team, even though I thought that was a stupid name.
That's
too.
the stupidest name. I'm sorry.
But
you'll get over Commanders, whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure I will at some point.
And what is it with Washington teams always changing their name?
Well, because their original names are awful.
Well, right. That's what I'm getting at. How did they screw up multiple times with their names?
Washington Bullets.
Right.
Washington.
Right. Yeah. Of course. No. I guess the question was more of like, how were they so bad originally at coming up with their names? They gotta, it's like they can't make decisions in Washington.
Yeah.
Really.
Bad.
Okay.
PR. But, and so like there's been this kind of struggle for football supremacy within my house of, because my wife's a Niners fan growing up out here, and so she wants to raise the kids Niners fans, and I of course want to raise the kid. I want to pass on the suffering of being a Washington football fan.
What a gift you are to your children.
Yeah, and I mean, I've already given them my dashing looks. And
that is true though.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually genuinely is a positive.
And I actually won that battle because in spite of the fact my wife is a much better looking person, they both of our children look like me.
You want honestly, the best gift you've given your children is your kind souls.
Yes, and a pretty biting sense of humor.
Yes, yeah, I'll agree with that one. Yeah.
So your dad wasn't like, having a child like who's a sports fan, like you get to commiserate with that child, be like, and share in that pain.
This makes so much sense if my dad were that dude. He's not. Okay. He was never really like a sports guy. Watching my dad try and shoot a basketball because I was into basketball is always still hilarious as anything to me. The way he tried to like precision it and like lean forward and like try to put his arm in the right way and then push it out. I was like, oh, Dad, like you're embarrassing me. You can't do that. But he wanted to try, And like, so my dad was a Mets fan. I always liked some sports from afar and stuff. And got me into baseball because that was like, it's baseball, son. But the second that I was into Yankees, very supportive dad. So he was like, all right, yeah, let's go Yankees. Let's do it,
Okay, and you played baseball, right? Like like at a high level. Like you're not just like I played baseball until like I think I was a freshman in high school.
My parents were absurdly shocked at like how athletic I was.
Yeah.
So my mom is actually pretty athletic. My dad is just not.
You played college ball, right?
Yes.
And you were a pitcher.
Yes. Hence
why you know so much about pitching.
A little bit. It's funny, actually, all the dumb things I learned in college. Like, sorry. I mean, like, I'll put it this way. I actually didn't really know too much about mechanics Like a lot of the things were kind of like whispers and everything, but I remember actually like my senior year trying to figure it out myself because I didn't have as much instruction as I would have wanted. You know, I had some good things along the way, but like those are little bits and wasn't the whole thing that I needed. There were also some instructions like in 0-2 counts, Justin Mason, let's say you're a pitcher in an 0-2
I'm a
count.
pitcher. Okay.
Yes, you are a pitcher. I mean, you'd be a good one. You know, mentally, you'd have I'd say the character and the will to really, the mental fortitude.
Yeah. Maybe because I don't have the wingspan to be a good pitcher.
No. All of that's you know, it's 50% physical. Okay,
Yeah,
70% mental. Anyway, so you're there. It's an 0-2 count. In general, if you had one rule to follow about what pitch you throw in an 0-2 count, what would that rule be?
Nothing that's going to be hittable.
Okay, and what kind of pitch would you throw?
I mean, I would
like pitch type.
Oh, I mean, I would probably throw a breaking pitch outside of the zone.
Yeah, sure. And if you were to throw a fastball, where would you put it?
Not in the middle of the zone.
Sure.
I'd probably go high if I'm gonna go.
Okay, right. Yeah, right. If you're gonna go out of the zone, you would go high, right?
I don't want if I'm up that far in the count, I don't want to give them something that is gonna burn me.
Right. My instruction is on an 0-2 pitch, you're supposed to throw a fastball away off the plate. Yep, that was it.
Okay.
And I remember my very first game I played was only one I played my first year playing ball, which was sophomore year. I didn't play my freshman year. I walked on.
Okay. So you didn't start playing until later then.
Well, then I mean I played through high school, was like MVP of the league, and my coach did nothing for me getting into colleges. And then I didn't know what to do. I was so timid and wasn't like, I was so shy about the stuff, so nervous and everything. I didn't do anything as far as like getting recruited or anything close to that. So I then got accepted halfway as a mid-year at Brandeis, which means I start in January, which means I couldn't have walked on my spring year unless I went out of my way and did all these things my first year. So like, for example, like I would have to show up in the fall and do all these things and then whatever, but I was too timid and didn't really do any of that. And no one really told me the process. So I just had a normal college semester my first year at Brandeis, and then I walked on my sophomore year. So I actually hurt my ankle playing basketball that winter, and only got one out my first year of ball. And it was the last out of the game. It was like the ninth inning. We're up like 10-1 or something. And I go in, I get 0-2 on the guy, and I'm supposed to throw a fastball away. I do it. The guy leans out with his bat and hits it to center for a single. And I'm like, well, this sucks. So the next guy, I get to 0-2. I'm like, no. And I just throw a curveball that lands into the zone. And he freezes him in strike 3 and end the game. I'm like, yep, that's the last time I'm ever going to do that. And it's like, I knew it was bad there, but I'm even like now, it's just like no one gets whiffs on fastballs away out of the zone. Like, that's just not go up, throw a breaking ball down or something. Like, it's stuff like that. So there are a lot of things in college that I certainly did, you know, I learned kind of the tools of the trade, kind of like how the game is played, the culture a bit, you know, all that stuff. But it wasn't really until after that I learned a lot of my stuff in doing travel ball. I coached travel ball. I gave pitching lessons as well through 78th Precinct. And I learned a lot of my stuff and really had to like relearn mechanics and everything again there. And then I was able to bring in pieces from the stuff in college ball. And then come together. I remember like a lot of stuff with grips and like how to attack pitches and stuff. I learned playing and all that stuff. But there were some like bad ideas. Like, yeah, 2-seamers inside. That's how you do it. You don't throw 4-seamers. No, it's 2-seamers inside all day. Like all these things. Like, wait, no, that's bad. That's not what you're supposed to do. I mean, if you could do that effectively, fine. You can do the Pittsburgh Pirates method for some years, but, you know, it's not ideal.
Do you think that is just like a leftover effect of like old school way of thinking about baseball?
Probably. It probably was. I mean, my coach certainly wasn't young. It was Pete Varney who caught for the White Sox for a brief moment in I think the 70s or 80s. And then was also the linebacker, or no, I'm sorry, the tight end who caught the touchdown pass in the, I believe it's Yale wins 2020 against Harvard, if I remember correctly. He was that tight end. He was a big dude. I have a lot of quotes about him, but I can't say any of them.
Oh, why?
Oh, because I will not curse on this podcast, nor do heavily suggestive things.
Well, that's good to know.
Oh man, I remember once he made me change my mechanics once, and I was changing it, and I said it felt weird.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, I mean, I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks of
Okay.
it because yeah, so was the first time you did something that around that age, all kids want to do for the first time, with someone else.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, thanks, coach. This is what I want to think about right now around with you. This is great. And he did it with like his tongue, like slobbering almost like underneath his lip, like you knew that thing was moving around. Like, sometimes like you move your tongue in your mouth and you think like no one can see it. Like we can all see it, dude. Like it's really weird. It's like, all right, coach, thanks. But no, there are a lot of things that Pete Varney taught, and it's a historic coach for a reason. Stuff I'm giving him a very bad rap all of a sudden right now, but a lot of great stuff came from Pete too.
So you finish playing baseball, you do some coaching. When does Pitcher List get born, and like when does the analysis part of things when did you go from wanting to play or coaching to like, hey, I want to write about this and talk about this?
Yeah. So I actually, after college, I was like, oh, I'm not playing anymore. So I actually started to think, oh, I'm going to play guitar forever. Because I'm a dreamer, man. I'm just like, I will not do a normal office job or something like that. I'm like, no, I'm special. I'm talented. So I was like, all right, I'm going to play guitar and do that. And I worked at Guitar Center for a year, and I obviously didn't happen. So I didn't know what to do. I got really lucky where friend's dad was running a website, like a weird news website, and I saw they had a Craigslist ad. Because again, I had no direction. I was so timid and shy, and really was so naive about things in college that I didn't go to my advisor. I didn't really think about my career path or anything like that. I was just kind of going through it. I've always coasted through school and stuff, I didn't really think like, oh yeah, what am I going to do? My purpose, my thing, all of that. So I had nothing. I was a psych major and computer science minor and didn't want to do either one. So I got this. I saw that my friend's dad had posted something on Craigslist looking for writers at this weird news thing that they're doing, but it would be like for free. And I went to my friend and said, look, if your dad can pay me to run that for him, then I'll do that, because I know he has this other company he's trying to build and make. And that worked. It was nothing at first. Like, I think I made $300 a week or something for like the first month or so. I was working at home. Eventually I said I'll do stuff on the weekends too. Got that up to 500, and that became like something I could build upon while not paying rent for a bit, right? And, it became a little bit more after that, and so on. So from there, I had so much free time. Started a site for my songs. Like I decided to like put out a song a day and stuff for guitar to let loose of that, because I could build websites with this new company, the Weird News website. I figured out how to build websites, WordPress websites with that. And then I thought, oh, this project's going to end at the end of the year. I don't know what my next project is. And then I saw a Matt Harvey fastball that was in slow motion, and it was just coming back and getting in the corner. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And I realized, oh, I could probably like make like a database of this stuff, And like the best part of projects to me are those moments when you have an idea and you understand what steps would have to be taken for it to come to fruition, right? Like that's the hype for me, is you understand all the stuff. Yeah, there's work and there's time in between, but it isn't an idea where you don't know, like you have all these questions and everything that don't have answers, and that is like the inhibitor. But once all that's cleared away and you just see the goal in front of you, then you just got to run. Then you just got to actually like just take the time to get there. You know, eventually if you just keep walking or running, like you'll reach that thing. So I came up with that idea called the pitcher gifts. Huge fan of, you know, like would do fantasy baseball and stuff, was winning some leagues. Had my Fangraphs renaissance in 2011 after all my friends were beating me. I was like, I played baseball though. You didn't. How are you doing this? And I realized, oh, walk rates, huh? Yeah, that was something. It was like we played like an OBP league, and I didn't recognize like Joey Votto, like why he was the best one in it. I was like, oh, I think I get it now. Oh my god. But I was a big fan of Rasball. I came across that. Gray Albright was a huge influence for me. I mean, I don't think that's much of a surprise to anyone listening. Of like, he does his daily rundown of everything, and I realized, oh, I would love to do something like this, but just for every single pitcher, because I always get upset at times when like he wouldn't cover the guy I had or stuff like that, and I felt like, oh no, I know about pitching and stuff. Like I can probably figure this out. So yeah, so I came up with pitcher gifts. Was like, I can make this. I don't know if this is as long as you wanted the story.
No, this is great. I love this. This is I'm getting the Nick Pollack origin story here. I got
yeah. This is the movie. This is the movie before the actual one shows up, right? Normally the sequel is the best one, except if it's Star Wars, I guess.
We're gonna get to the sequel here in a second. So
yeah, there you go. Sure. So yeah, that was the fall of 2013, and I didn't want to go into it alone. I kind of I had this vision of like, oh yeah, I'm going to make like a blog. I'm going to talk about this stuff and have this website. And I kind of joked that like I couldn't just make the database. Like I wanted a GIF for every single pitcher in the majors. I felt like that's a tangible thing. I know how to make a GIF, or at least I can figure out a good way of doing it. And I know how to structure WordPress pages and everything like that. I know how to make this. I know how to add a theme. I know how to customize them, you know, and all this stuff. I knew like all the building blocks that might hold a lot of people up. And but I want someone else to help with like the load and like feel like I was doing it with somebody, you know. That's always, for me, it's really exciting being a part of something that you have someone on board with you that will, you know, it's got your six, you know, all that stuff. Like you help each other out. And I had a friend of mine, and long story short, we were about to launch like the Sunday before the Tuesday or whatever. And I had done my half of all the gifts. He was supposed to do like the National League. I was going to do the American League. Realized he had done nothing.
Oh god.
2 days before. Good news is that no one knew this thing was coming. So I did all of it in a week. I gift the entire like National League, all of it. And that back then, like right now, you can just go to Baseball Savant, right click on their video and get it. Oh no. 2013 tech, like it might sound somewhat recent as if technology's on the same level.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Like I had to use, I think it was called free video screen recorder. Like it sounded like the most malware virus laden thing, but it just, that's what it was. You know, it just like, yeah, it's recorded the screen. There were frames dropping at times. I remember people would criticize us in the beginning because when the batter would swing, frames would drop. It's because there's a lot of action on the video and it's like impossible to grab it. I'm not trying to make the pitch look nastier. Like literally I can't grab the video because it just won't render, you know? Oh man, you had to go through, I go to Brooks Baseball. They had the full spreadsheet of everything. So what I would have to go through games, I would say like, okay, I'm trying to find this random guy's changeup, which only throws like 8% of the time. So now I have to go to this Brooks Baseball. I have to see changeups. What games he threw a changeup in. Okay, this one's got 5. Oh, but that camera angle sucks. No, I don't want to do that one. All right, fine. There's one with 3. Go into that game, scour it. Is there one that doesn't say ball? That says like called strike or swing strike? Like, yes, I got one. And I go to it. And what do? They cut away from it, or like something blocks it, or just doesn't look good. I'm like, I hate everything. Like it happened so many times, and I had to do that for each individual one of them. So finally, whatever. So finally I get this up. It's there. I put it on Reddit, and I just say, because I was a Redditor for like 4 years at that time. And I was like, hey guys, like I made this thing. Like a gift database. You can look up everyone. And if it gave it, I think we got 40,000 hits in the first 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a top thing on Reddit for the entire day. Like it was, there's Next Impulse Sports, which doesn't really exist, or it kind of does now. But they say like Pitcher Gifts is our favorite new baseball website, and that got us more clicks and stuff. And it totally like destroyed the site. And I was so stupid. I uploaded the gifts directly on the page, like, which means that it takes all the bandwidth of WordPress. Like now we use Jiffy Cat, and like we just use their bandwidth. Thank you. But like it was just destroyed my site because you load a GIF, and if like 10 people load that GIF, then they all pull it from me. And then 40,000 people. Are you joking? So then I spent like the next couple weeks transferring everything first to I-, which was a terrible call, and then I went to Jiffy Cat, figured out that solution. And yeah, I was on the top of the world, man. I brought in a friend of mine to help out doing some articles. This is great. I'm feeling awesome. I can like talk about this stuff. This is really cool. And then all of a sudden they shut us down in May. Just I put out oh man, Jose Fernandez got Tommy John then, okay, in 2014, and I put out the best 20 pitches of Jose Fernandez's career. Like we were all so sad that we were going to see Fernandez for, a year and change, not knowing his tragedy that was going to happen in the future. Kind of ironic in this way, but I put this out. I was like, here are the 20 best pitches. Awesome thing. Fish Stripes took it up, in SB Nation. Like a lot of people loved it, and it got so much attention that MLB was like, no. I was like, are you serious? I'm celebrating one of your most like marketable players here for you because you are doing it. Come on. At the time I was kind of foolish. I had some ads on it that I probably shouldn't have. Wasn't really making anything off of it. And I think that's what set them off. But
MLB has always done weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're just really bad at marketing themselves. Like, you did a guerrilla marketing campaign for MLB, and they shut you down.
Yep. So they shut me down. I remember on my birthday taking a call with them where they're like, no. I was like, the fact that I was even like having a call with them, I was like, this is
that's pretty crazy.
Nick.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't with them, it was like they're paralegal or whatever.
Still.
It's just like, this isn't gonna work, Nick. This is foolish. So that was Pitcher Gifts. I got really sad because I found myself reading my own SB roundups. This is how like, I felt like Wolverine on like the photo, of him in his bed, like with a picture frame with a hand on it. That's how I was looking at my own roundups. That's how sad of a state I was in. I was like, I just miss writing this stuff, man. What a joke that was, huh? And I realized, like, you know what? I have to bring it back in some way, even if it doesn't have the gifts, just because I enjoyed the writing. And I was like, oh, I have an idea. I'll do, like, a top 100. Because I already had it in my head. I'll just, I had the roundup. And I was like, oh, I'll just do a top 100 every Monday. And then I called the pitcher list. And then, ta-da!
And then we're here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I got to ask about...
That was like 20 minutes. Oh, my God. I'm so
sorry.
Yeah,
no, it was great. I got to ask, what is the origins of your relationship with Alex?
Oh man, he sent me an email in the beginning of 2016, like the first week of April, and it's just the best email you would want to get. I say it's the best email I've ever gotten, but it was just this super starry-eyed kid. He's a month older than me, or 3 weeks older than me, but he's just like so enthusiastic about it. He's like, oh, how do I get in? I want to be a part of this, all this kind of stuff. Found out he's in Brooklyn. I asked him to send me a sample because he had done it. I sent him like, show me what you got of Ricky and Morty, to just taking a chance that he knew that reference, and he totally did. He sent me also like his commissioner league. A lot of people know these. Like you send off, like you write the write up of your league to the entire league, which is so much work for like 10 people to read, but I love it so much.
I used to write obituaries when people would be eliminated from contention.
See, that's true passion and love, and it's amazing. My friends actually have a lot of lawyer friends, and there are 2 famous complaints written by them about to the friend group as a joke. It's the funniest thing ever. But yeah, it's that kind of stuff that is just out of passion, and like I loved it. And yes, then I just brought Alex on to do whatever I needed help with. And then eventually he said, let's do a podcast. I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And then shoot, just kind of went up from there.
Okay, so what was the original goal of Pitcher List? I mean, obviously the list, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you started to make it a little bit more than just a list, like what was the original goal? Because you know, often people ask me like, "Oh, what was it like for you when you first got into the industry?" Or what were your goals when you first got into the industry? And I tell people that if I had written down what I wanted to do in this industry, I would have undersold myself. Like I clearly overshot even my own expectations.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
Well, first and foremost, I should mention that if you remember, I was working for that weird news website. I
mhm,
got brought on to do the website for the same guy, his major company, and I still do that. If you can believe it, I run their front facing website now. When I say front facing, it's because they used to have some sort of blog content or things I would have to like constantly always be doing every day. It's much less now, so that allows me to essentially do Pitcher List stuff full time. But at a drop of a hat, sometimes there are rare moments when I have to just, nope, I gotta help out the other company or
mhm,
something. But that is absurdly lucky and fortunate, and there's no way I could be doing this with with an actual full time job. And not to mention, I don't have a wife and kids or something too. So like this is my thing, and that's allowed it to grow as much as it did, as quickly as it did. As I say, 8 years later. Uh, but I mean, to your question, I mean, at first when I saw that initial response of 40,000 hits, all I'm thinking is just like sky's the limit.
mhm,
I'm certainly someone not short of ambition, and I want to be a guitar player after I did become a major leaguer. Like as far as how it would be and all the ideas that have come after, I could not have foreseen. I got to knock one off my list I never thought I would get to do in 2016 when I casually wrote for Washington Post on their like fancy stats side. Like it because of gifts. Gifts allowed me to get so many extra things that I should not have gotten because it was perceived that having gifts meant more internet traffic just innately.
mhm.
And I don't know if that was necessarily true, but yeah, I would do like for Washington Post, I would have like the three best pitches of the week, and I would write like a paragraph about them. It was like it was nothing, but it was for fancy stats, and I would do a thing on. Then every so often, I would do a little piece on something for them, and I did like a gift breakdown of Steven Strasburg that got the attention of Neil Greenberg there, who gave me that opportunity to do a little bit more. Excuse me. And one day I wrote something about Kyle Hendricks. I was like, yeah, this week I pitched them some ideas. I said, yeah, I want to write about Kyle Hendricks being the best pitcher in Chicago because he somehow is right now. He's the unlikely ace of Chicago, even though they have John Lester and Jake Arrieta. So I wrote this piece, talked about hard contact and soft contact. And then the next week on Tuesday, he said, oh, hey, I meant to tell you, Nick, that piece ran in the Post on Sunday.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, what? That was never on the table. That was never like they're like, yeah, they needed something for their sports section. They didn't have anything, and I just sent them your thing, and they took it. And so I have a copy of
Oh, I
me
bet. It's yeah.
well, it's not framed. It's literally
It,
like I don't know where I have it exactly, but it's somewhere where
how do
someone
you
not.
not have that framed?
I know. Well, my parents apparently have one, and they haven't done anything with it, and I'm like, why haven't you guys done so? I always would just expect my parents would be the one that would do it. I know. I need to get it framed. I know. I understand this. But whatever. I was in the Post and like at 20, I don't know, 27 years old or something like that. And I'm just like, this shouldn't happen. I envisioned all these baseball writers with their wonderful mustaches and glasses, writing these things with, yes, son, hold on. I need to finish my piece for the Washington Post. And here I am being like, not even just like a little column. Like you open up the sports section, there's a picture of Kyle Hendricks, unlikely Chicago ace, like what by Nick Pollack. So I checked that one off that I'll probably never get again. So like, as far as like goals and stuff, I mean, yeah, one of them was to be a part of Fangraphs at any point, and you guys gave me that gift. to be on Sleeper in the Bus.
You say you guys like I had any part of that.
Oh, you still. Well, I mean, even now though, still like coming back for shows and stuff like that.
Oh,
yes, you are. And I mean that's been incredible. You know, there have been obviously a lot of things along the way. I mean, I always joke about I always dream of being on ESPN, and the one time I get my name spoken, it's in the context of I think Nick Pollack should be on Love Is Blind. And you know what? Not exactly what I envisioned, but it works for me. I'm happy with that, you know. But yeah, it's, you know, the goals always change. When I started it, I felt like this was a way for me to be involved doing this stuff forever in some fashion. Didn't know how, if it was my own thing, getting bought out, if it was just like, you know, writing somewhere else and just having a career. But over time, you kind of just see what doors open, what opportunities arise. And I think I got lucky being a tech savvy dude who's a millennial and loves all this internet stuff, that I was able to embrace things like Patreon early on. And, you know, and even though I felt late at the time with podcasting, it was, I think, relatively early now.
Yeah.
But yeah, just there's a lot of opportunity on the internet with content creation, and I'm happy that I was able to kind of get in at a time when that was still developing.
Well, and still is. You guys have just launched your new version of PL.
Woo!
So talk
PL7, baby.
Talk about. I want you to talk about PL7, but talk about the evolution, because man. you guys have like. Did you turn it over every year? Or is it like
kinda? Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Man, all right, my God.
Because it's amazing now. Like I you know,
Thanks,
you and I mean, we've known each other for 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 4 years. I'm gonna say 4. In my heart, it's 15.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've known you forever. I feel like you know, we probably connected in a previous life or something.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
I
believe it. You were a Mason. I was just a Nick. So sorry. Yeah, please continue.
So, but like, it's amazing in the time that I've known you, like seeing the transformation of the site into what it is today. And not just the site itself, but the organization as a whole, the company as a whole. Because it's a full-fledged company with how many employees right now?
It's about, I'd say, I mean, it's under 200, but it's like 175.
Oh,
170, all
that's
contracted.
Insane.
No one's full time.
But that's still insane.
It is crazy, and it's.
You were one guy doing pitching gifts.
Well, I was 2, turned into 1.
Yeah, you were supposed to be 2, but you were 1.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you're talking 8 years later, you're running a company that has 170 contracted employees.
So okay. So there's a lot of things here, and I'm so sorry. Interrupt me multiple times here because I could do this for a long time. But I do want to say, Max Posner, who joined me right after the launch of Pitcher Gifts, friend of mine from high school and everything, great guy, could not have soared like we did without him. Even just with Twitter going on at times and creating GIFs and putting it out to reporters or whatever, saying, hey, you just commented on this pitch in this game. I just made a GIF of that for you. Like, that got us such a good initial following of doing baseball GIFs. This was right before Pitching Ninja did that, right? And got us, like, we were like the people you could look to for that. And that's, honestly, that's what I think is a reason we have the Twitter following we do, is because that initial major push of just, we did pitching GIFs a ton back in the day, right? That I've like stopped doing as much because there's just so many other things now, and Pitching Ninja just such a good job that I feel like I don't add that much to the space and the market as much as I used to. But every so often I'm like, guys, this is dope. I have to show you how dope it is. It's the best. But right. So it's such a product of the staff of us doing this stuff. I wouldn't be able to trust like having this many people. Like, we have managers that oversee teams, and they are doing their thing, and they're focused on their role, and they do it really well, and they're such good people. And I think along the way, as we continue to expand and do stuff, it's only possible because we have such a great culture of people. It's not, people say, oh no, Nick, it's, you do that. I'm like, no, I don't. It's the initial people who were really good that made me feel okay being that kind of person. We shake each other's hand in that way of enforcing it. Then now it's like we're in a position we can say, if you're not like this, we don't want you here. You have to be a part of this because we've created this by now. You know what I mean? And it's helped me just as a person with all working with these people, just reinforcing, right, you don't have to be cutthroat in the industry. You don't need to do all these bad tactics that you think from the outside you have to do in a quote unquote business. And it's not just also like Pitcher List people. It's people like you, Justin. It's like Eno and Spore and Jason Collette and so many in the industry, Jeff Erickson. They're all just such good people, and they encourage this and they're welcoming. And we could have showed up and just been, get out of here. Gray Albright is so nice and awesome, and just seeing Alex send me a photo of him and Gray hugging in LA is just that makes me so happy, and it's such an indication of the industry. So, I mean, I want that to be said, just of this is a product. I used to say that Pitcher List is built by strangers. I didn't know about 95% of the people that are a part of this, just from random emails and stuff. But along the way, all these amazing people have come together to make this together. So it's not just Nick at the top and I've made it, enjoy it. No, this is a huge, huge thing coming together. That said, the story of this, very quickly, I'm going to try. It's basic WordPress site. Started thinking, okay, all right, I want to do a couple more things. I always had a dream of those player pages with the GIFs being fan graphs with GIFs, essentially. That's what I wanted. And finally with PL7, it's we're trying to do that. There's still things that fan graphs does so well that we're never going to touch. Just in this essence, roster resource is the greatest thing ever. I don't think we can ever really touch that. Just the amount of historical data on Fangraphs and how quick and easy it is, and all their little it's just incredible. But we wanted to provide a very quick, hey, these are the stats you're probably looking for really quickly for your fantasy teams. One place, cool visualization that does a little bit more than the StatCast ones, that has StatCast data. We're still adding more things to it. We still also need to make some tweaks here and there. You guys are probably noticing some little stats that might be a little off here and there and stuff. Yeah, we're fine tuning everything, but we're excited about this being a foundation for it. Anyway, all that aside, let's go back to the original question. All right, so how it came to be is Pitcher List, which was just a straight blog of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I actually I interacted with some web developer who loved baseball and was like, dude, this is so cool. I want to help make this company big. I see it's really awesome that what you're building. I want to make it off of WordPress and I'll build you that stats site too and everything. I was like, this is amazing. Okay. And then all of a sudden, it comes to be November or so, and he just, he doesn't have any time anymore. And I have the bare bones skeleton of an actual site. So I'm not kidding. 2017, or 2016, people had to submit articles through Word docs that I had to upload myself because we didn't have a user system.
Oh God.
It was horrible. And then I kept trying the entire year for him to build out this stuff. It didn't really work. And then we got hacked because we were using a Mongo database that still had the default admin password or whatever. And they deleted everything. So then, so 2017, I had to make it a normal WordPress site again. Did all the GIFs. I had a friend of mine, Edwin, who worked with me and made it. And I call him the savior of Pitcher List in many ways of replicating. I had no way to replicate what I built. And he replicated it and made it look like nothing happened. And I cannot thank him enough for that. Edwin Lin. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to make my own website with blackjack and hookers, to quote Bender. I would never say that on my own. I'm only quoting Futurama. Okay. So then I was like, I had to build a website for my actual company. And I was like, oh, I'm actually really comfortable editing CSS files and knowing the PHP that they have, how to maneuver stuff. I found a really good theme on WordPress that I could actually got really good at, like the inspect tool on Google. So you can right click it and then change the CSS on the right. And I said, yeah, I like it when it's all organized like this. So then I bought it for like $50, and that was Pitcher List 3.0. And that looked like, okay, different things. I realized, oh, I want to get sports images. Had a lot of things with that. Finally found this like Icon Sports Wire that instead of spending like $6,000 a month for Getty Images or something, I have to pay, I think it's like right underneath $1,000 for, I think it's around $2 to $3 per image, which is so much better. And then Justin Paradis the next year came around, and he's a saint beyond anything.
Yeah, he's really good at what he does.
Changed the scope of it, you know. So I 4.0 wasn't really a new site because like we just wanted to expand what we were doing as far as like staff goes. But player pages, very simple. It was just the GIF, the player name, and stuff. Like nothing had changed there. But Justin changed it on the graphics side. He made us really think, oh man, like we need to showcase these better because we're having these like custom graphics now, and then we expanded our team. So then we made 5.0, and that's Dan Wist is amazing. Hired him as our WordPress developer. I love this guy. I really do. Such a cool dude. And I'm upset he's in Austin and not in New York. I would hang out with him all the time. But he built the 5.0 site, and we worked together on this for a while. And I really loved the design he came up with. It was because we only had a certain amount of content, and we just wanted like this. We wanted a site that was like, oh, it's professional. You know, like you come to Pitcher List, it's not just some fantasy site. Like this is real quality writing and everything, right? So we built that one with one major image and then these blocks underneath, and like the current look of the articles I really like with the header overlapping the image. It has this nice professional look to it, different from others, all that kind of thing. And then so I thought that was great. 6.0 then. And we have, I'm trying to remember this. My God, timeline is just blurring because that was 2020, right? And introduced PL Plus, moved away from Patreon. So that was like a huge deal that helped us a lot. I think we essentially doubled our revenue, if not more, moving from Patreon to the on-site thing. And I think the biggest shift though, among all of this, so I'll remember this, you probably don't, as I continue to ramble and rant as you're so kind just sitting there being quiet, is we didn't have ads forever. Right? I screwed up in 2014 by throwing some stupid ones on. I was like, why am I doing this? This is dumb. And I said, I'm not going to do ads because it's not worth it. You know, we weren't getting so much traffic or whatever to say that this amount of money would actually allow us to do lots of things and open so many doors. Until 2017, I think, or 18, I said, all right, fine. This year, I'm going to work with these Zoic and get ads on the site. And I think at the time we were, you know, it was fine. You know, it wasn't like a lot, but it was like, oh, this is actually kind of paying for like the staff this month. This is kind of cool. I don't have to pay out of pocket for that anymore. Still have to pay out of pocket for other things, for like upkeep and everything else. But like the staff was actually, I think, covered with like Patreon plus the ads on the site. And then the next year I said, you know what? I wonder if there's like a better ad service. And I remember this moment distinctly. I was in the airport in going off to Denver in February of 2019, and I opened up my laptop and finally had like the first earnings report, like the dashboard of this new ad company. And the day of like, you know, getting, I don't know, we got like 20,000 hits in a day, and that was a third or whatever. I don't remember what it was. We made 4 times the amount of money with this new ad company on a day that it wasn't even like a big day or something. And I just sat there and realized, oh my God, like all of these doors are open now. And that's when I started going for it. That's when I started like making the PL Plus thing and the new website. And then I was like, I want stats now. I want to make that place, because I'm so sick of going to StatCast and going to the dark hole of the internet that is the Pitch FX splits on Fangraphs that no one cares about, and they should, and this should be everywhere, and everyone should be caring about this, because this is how you should be doing your pitching analysis. and I was like, I want to make it. And we worked with Inside Edge for a bit. It has a lot of problems creating that last year, not because of Inside Edge, just on the development stuff. I went from like 2 developers and 1 database guy to 5 database people, including Niv Shah of Adanu, and 6 WordPress developers, to finally get StatCast data, which is not cheap, and to make PL7. I sped it up at the end there, but because I'm talking too much, Justin.
No, you're not. I love this.
That's it.
I don't care if anybody else likes this. This is.
Along the way, there's also UI UX. Riley Schoonover helped us out, and it's like more steadily and steadily, I realized I need to be more like a corporation. Mm-hmm. I can't just be the dude that. I mean, in my head, it's all there and stuff, but I need to go through the processes. I need to help out with this communication and manager, and like, I understand why these steps exist and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, now I'm just so excited, because we've developed something really, I think, special with these player pages. I think it's, to me, I don't want to go to another page now. We're adding rolling charts before opening day.
That's awesome.
Which is great. We're going to have an auction draft calculator. We have our projection system too. We're going to have DFS content as like our own DFS leaderboard and tool you can use in season that's going to generate its own daily projections. It's free for everyone with PL Plus. We're not even adding that as another thing. Just, PL Plus, you get it.
And how much is PL Plus?
It's $8 a month.
That's
if you get it for a year. $10 for if you do a student month by month. But yeah, like relatively, like for like DFS products alone are like, I don't know, like what, they're $20 to $30 a month or something. I'm like,
yeah,
it's all inclusive. Just get the dang thing. Sorry for the massive ad.
No.
What's really funny about that to me is I do my like daily streamers in the morning. We'll have our own list that is from our PL bot, and I'm going to be yelling at it all the time. I can't wait. So like, how could you, PL bot? Eric Lauer is way better than this. He should be 5th. Yeah, I can't wait to yell at machines. So yeah, I mean, it's for us. This is like, I've been chasing this. I felt like it last year a bit, but there were a lot of like issues that we couldn't address. We just didn't have the resources and the team to do it. We were kind of always chasing again. And right now, yeah, there are things that we have to fix right now, but we have the team, we have the resources to do it. And, we just kind of need the lockout to not exist for us to like feel really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's to me is like, here we are. This is it. You're not going to see the dramatic overhaul next year. We finally had so much content that we had to change the homepage one more time to really house it properly, because there were some issues of like, you see too few things, it's hard to find stuff, and like, yeah, we want to be able to house all of it. So yeah,
you also launched 60 podcasts. Did I get the number right? Is it actually 60?
Close. 20.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
it felt like 60.
I know. No, someone actually read it, was like, why are they doing this? I literally, as an individual, cannot listen to all of these. Like, there aren't enough hours in the day to do that.
You flooded the market.
Yeah, I know.
Do you wish that? Because when you did it, I was like, "Oh no, Nick, don't release them all at once, because you can't listen to all of them at once."
Yeah. So, well, this was something that I didn't tell guys doing on purpose, and I felt really like, there's a scene in Silicon Valley. Now this is not at all. If I just always think about this, I'm like, I will not be this guy, but I felt like it, even though I shouldn't have. Of like Ehrlich looking at the main character Richard and becoming, oh, now he's a jerk. That's not the word he's saying, but like, as every CEO needs to be a jerk at some point or something. And my understanding is like, look, for a podcast to succeed, you have to do it without any sort of carrot. You have to just do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you're just happy to have a podcast and you're just excited that you get to do this, and you get 50 people listening. That's amazing. You have 50 people, and you can just imagine being in a room with 50 people sitting down listening to you. That's awesome, right? And our goal with it was, yeah, we wanted to actually have it as a feed where we house all of them together, and as opposed to like individually doing it. And if you guys have noticed on the fantasy feed, like the Pitcher List Fantasy Baseball, we have them all feeding into that one feed. They all have their own individual ones that you can go to. But yeah, the majority, heavy majority, are all just on that main feed. And our intention was, by the off season, to see which shows were still consistent in doing it, to say, okay, great, I'm going to pull you in. I initially thought I was going to say that to people, but then I realized that they would be doing it for the carrot. They wouldn't, I wanted to get the people that were actually like still doing it regardless and be like, you so deserve it because of that, and we're really lucky that like, I'm not saying that any show stopped because they were like, oh, this isn't enough. Things happen with podcast. Like, it's a lot of commitment, and we're very fortunate to have as many shows go through that and survive it, that we have like not only our fantasy feed now. No, we just actually launched our own baseball feed to separate the two, because we wanted people to, if you're a baseball fan, you should have Pitcher List stuff that isn't fantasy focused. So now we have both of those. And we have enough content on both to actually fill it out. And because we have so many staffers and so many of them deserve to do this, and they're great at it. And I'm just happy that we have a place that I can fund it for them, so that all they have to do is just sacrifice their time, and they don't have to pay on the upkeep of hosting or anything like that. So I'm very, very lucky to be working with all these great people.
Well, then I think the question is, what's next? Like, you said you're an ambitious guy. Clearly, you're ambitious.
Yeah.
And you're productive.
How much can I say, though?
You can say it all. No one's gonna listen to this.
That's not true in the slightest. I know that people listen to this because it's a fantastic podcast, Justin. I'll say this. I like asking the question of what you would do in my situation, and instead of saying what I am going to do, and with this team, and I've talked to the team about it, we're all super excited about what we can do. For us, my goal is for Pitcher List to be the all-encompassing baseball website, right? It should feel as if you want anything to do with baseball, like we should serve it here. There is, I think, one area where when you think of any site about baseball, that Pitcher List does not provide whatsoever. And, don't think of that as far as like an article or a video or something like that. There's an element of the game that, or of just kind of consuming baseball on any way on the internet, that we just don't provide currently. And I realized that we actually can not only do that now with our deal that we have with Sport Radar and to have StatCast data and stuff, but we can do it really well. And I'm really, really excited about that. I hope we get to showcase it in the middle of this year. My goal is to not save everything for PL8. Like, I want to actually just be having updates on. We have a larger staff now that we can do things like that. We don't just have to hoard it all and to have something to show. And no, it's not an app, guys. An app is so expensive. It's absurd how much it costs to create a dedicated app and then to do maintenance on top of it. I mean, keep getting PL Plus. If you guys are like that, if you keep using our player pages and signing for PL Plus, I mean, our goal is to do that eventually. It's just we have to get the funding for it. So,
well, I'm gonna go sign up for PL Plus right now.
Yes, yeah, you should, Justin.
I will. As soon as we're done recording this, I will go and register for PL Plus.
You would. I mean, I think you've been in our Discord before. Like,
yeah, I've been in your Discord for a while.
You should just hang out with us. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, man.
Yeah,
you gotta be chilling with our guy.
I've been in the Discord. I love when Plaid is going. That's usually when I jump into the Discord.
That's right. You jump into Plaid, which is Pitcher List after it's dark. It's the only time I allow the staff to curse in any way. It's only in the voice chat after 9 p.m. Eastern time. And
I just come in there and wreak havoc. Every once in a while, it's definitely worth that. All right, so the way I always end these episodes is by asking the same question, and that question is: if someone is listening and going, "I want to be like Nick. I want to do what Nick has done," what would be the one piece of advice you would give to them?
Oh man, oh god, there's so many. Okay. First of all, I want to say it's dumb to compare to me because of how much luck I've had. It's taken so much good fortune of this job that I have, and the certain background that I have, and a certain set of skills that I whatever, and that I'm nuts and want to write for an hour and a half every single night during the season, and I can do that or whatever. I mean, there's so much good fortune I have to do this thing that and it's taken 8 years. Someone jumping up and thinking like you can do this, and it's like this. I've been gotten so much good luck along the way, and also been gifted so many things from this community. So I would say at the very least, like, don't try to compare yourself to and DVR and you and everything. Like, do that. I would say if I'm someone that's trying to get into the baseball industry right now, the easiest way to do that, and the way that people will listen to the most, is to be a quant. Is to learn how to do any sort of, learn R, learn Python, learn how to make some models and stuff to be able to talk about it. But do not overlook the importance of being a good writer. I'm not going to say I'm the best writer ever. Everyone sees my typos and stuff like that. But you have to be a good writer. Otherwise, you sound like everyone else just trying to write about fantasy. And be able to articulate and being, entertaining, or at least trying to be, in my way, is just it's so important to understand. Am I just doing stuff for the sake of doing stuff, or am I doing things because I think it's actually interesting and different and an addition to this industry? Because I got lucky. Gifts. Like, I was the gift guy, so I got all of these opportunities, and then I was able to actually refine it and take some time with figuring out my craft and how I'm doing it. You can't just jump in and just write an article about your top 5 sleepers and say, like, the #1 source for fantasy baseball. Like, no, you're not. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you kidding? Like, you just go to Rotographs, that's going to be great. Like, you're not going to be, and that's okay. Don't try to be that. But I would, try to find other forms of content, try and put out little videos, try to do anything that has you stand out as an interesting and entertaining way. That is consistent too. I have so many things. You gotta be consistent. Yeah. You can't not. Like, it's such a long, long road. You can't be doing it for a month and be like, well, I'm so fed up and I'm done. You can't do it for a year and be fed up and done. And it's like, I mean, you can, and that's totally acceptable, but you got to be in it for the long haul. You got to, really, really put in your thought into everything that you do with it. And I'm still working on all of those things. And yeah, good luck. We love good stuff in this. Like, if it's good, if you actually see that your soul is into it and you're not trying to be like a dog eat dog kind of thing, like, we want you to exist. So good luck. We're rooting for you.
Well, with that, Nick, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh man, this was the best. I just talked about myself. It sounded like it was to myself too, for an hour. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, Justin. This is awesome. I couldn't be happier to be here.